Are you very, very rich?
Oh, I'm extremely rich.
Do you like being rich?
Of course.
What do you do with your
I
money?
flaunt it.
What do you do with your money?
I spend it.
Before the end of his days, the beloved vocalist of Queen, Freddie Mercury, may have revealed a secret no one expected him to disclose. Freddie lived a great life, had the brightest career there was, but behind this success are rumors that tried to ruin him. Did he leave as an open book, or maintain the confidentiality of his health complications? Today, we'll remember Freddie. Deathbed Mystery. Freddie Mercury was known for his magnetic stage presence and brilliant musical talent, but he was equally famous for guarding his personal life with a great deal of privacy. One of the most discussed aspects of his life was his struggle with AIDS, a subject he handled very discreetly. Although Mercury was diagnosed with AIDS in the mid-80s, he never publicly confirmed the details of his condition during his lifetime. Unlike some public figures who choose to share their health battles with the world, Mercury preferred to keep this part of his life out of the spotlight. This decision was likely influenced by the intense public scrutiny and the stigma surrounding AIDS at the time. It wasn't until after his death on November 24, 1991, that the full extent of his illness became widely known. The official statement released by his management confirmed that he had been suffering from AIDS, linking his death directly to complications arising from the disease. This posthumous revelation helped to humanize the AIDS crisis and contributed to greater public awareness during a time when misinformation and fear were rampant. Mercury's choice to maintain his privacy is a reminder of how personal struggles often remain hidden behind the public personas we admire. His enduring legacy as a trailblazer in rock music is enriched by the mystery surrounding his final years, and his passing played a significant role in changing public attitudes towards AIDS. By keeping his personal health details private, Freddie Mercury allowed his artistry to shine above all else, a testament to his belief that his music was his true legacy. While Freddie Mercury battled AIDS, he never explicitly confirmed his diagnosis to the public before his death. It was only in the aftermath of his passing that the world learned about the seriousness of his condition, underscoring both his commitment to privacy and the profound impact of his loss on both music and public health awareness. The reality of Freddie's condition. Freddie Mercury was a larger-than-life personality, both on stage and off, and his lifestyle certainly reflected that vibrant, unfiltered approach to living. When it comes to his AIDS diagnosis, however, the details are a bit murky. Freddie was always very private about his personal life, and he never publicly revealed exactly how or when he contracted HIV. That said, we can look at the context of the time to get a better idea of what might have played a role. Back in the 70s and 80s, the world was just coming to grips with HIV/AIDS. Safe sex practices weren't as widely known or as commonly practiced, especially in the rock and roll scene, where wild parties and a sense of rebellion often went hand in hand. Freddie, known for his unapologetic embrace of life, lived during a period when many in the creative and nightlife communities took risks without fully understanding the potential consequences. Although we don't have a definitive story of how Freddie contracted HIV, many believe it was likely through intimate relationships. Mercury was known to have relationships with both men and women, and during that era, the virus spread in many communities through such close contact. His openness about his life on stage contrasted sharply with his guarded nature offstage, meaning he chose to keep his personal health struggles out of the spotlight until after his passing. Freddie's lifestyle was emblematic of the time, a mix of artistic brilliance, a touch of hedonism, and a deep desire for authenticity. His approach to life meant that he lived fully, even if that sometimes came with risks that, in hindsight, had tragic consequences. Today, as we reflect on his legacy, his battle with AIDS is seen not just as a personal tragedy, but also as a pivotal moment in the public's understanding of the disease. While we may never know the exact circumstances of how Freddie Mercury contracted HIV, his life remains a powerful reminder of the complexities of living authentically in a challenging era. His music, his style, and even his personal struggles continue to inspire and educate, helping us remember the importance of compassion, awareness, and safe practices in our own lives. Bohemian Rhapsody. Freddie Mercury was one of rock's most iconic figures, and honestly, Hollywood's attempt to capture his magic hasn't been without its share of raised eyebrows. While Bohemian Rhapsody gave us a blockbuster romp through his life, a lot of fans and critics felt it ended up being a bit too polished. For starters, there's the whole timeline thing. The movie rearranges events in a way that makes for a neat story arc, but it ends up glossing over some of the real messy details of Mercury's life. Real life isn't as tidy as a Hollywood script, and by smoothing out the rough edges, the film sort of loses the complexity that made Freddie so fascinating. It's like they took the best bits of his story and left out the parts that didn't fit the feel-good blockbuster mold. Then there's the portrayal of his identity and struggles. Freddie was famously unapologetic about his flamboyance and sexuality, yet many feel the movie didn't dive deep enough into these aspects. Instead, it often opts for a safe, sanitized version that keeps things palatable for mainstream audiences. That means a lot of the gritty, real-life challenges, like the pressure of hiding parts of himself in a less accepting time, got pushed to the background. It's a bit like watching a really flashy highlight reel without the context of the real struggles behind the scenes. And let's not forget the band dynamics. The interpersonal conflicts and creative tensions within Queen were a huge part of what made the band's journey so compelling. But again, Hollywood preferred to smooth things over, sometimes even rewriting history a bit to fit the narrative. This not only does a disservice to the actual events, but also to the legacy of a band that thrived on raw emotion and unpredictability. While the film introduced a whole new audience to Freddie Mercury's genius, it's hard not to feel that the Hollywood portrayal came with a hefty dose of compromise. It's a reminder that while movies can celebrate legends, they can also simplify and sanitize history to fit a narrative that sells tickets. Freddie was a complex, rebellious force of nature, and sometimes the magic is lost in translation when you try to bottle lightning in a Hollywood frame. To all Fred has loved, Freddie Mercury's relationships were as colorful and dynamic as his onstage persona. Known for his unapologetic approach to life, Freddie navigated love and connection on his own terms, whether that was with women, men, or even just the vibrant energy of the people around him. One of the most well-known relationships in Freddie's life was with Mary Austin. Their bond went beyond the typical rock star romance. Mary wasn't just a girlfriend, she was a best friend and confidant. Freddie often described her as the love of his life, and even after their romantic relationship evolved, they remained incredibly close. Mary became his rock, a steady presence in a world that was constantly in motion, both on and off the stage. Then there were the relationships that reflected Freddie's more adventurous and fluid side. In an era when the norms around sexuality were shifting, Freddie embraced his identity without reservations. He had a number of relationships with men, one of the most notable being with Jim Hutton during the later years of his life. Jim was much more than just a partner. He was a caring companion who stood by him through some of the toughest times. Their relationship showed a softer, more vulnerable side of Freddie, a glimpse of the man behind the stage persona. Freddie's approach to relationships was as multifaceted as his music. He wasn't one to be confined by labels or traditional expectations. Instead, he chose to love and connect with people in ways that resonated with his unique spirit. His relationships, both the serious and the fleeting, reflected a life lived passionately and authentically, a reminder that even larger-than-life legends have deeply personal stories of love, loss, and friendship. Whether it was his deep connection with Mary Austin or the tender, more private moments with partners like Jim Hutton, Freddie Mercury's relationships remind us that his heart was as bold and brilliant as his voice. His personal life, full of twists and turns, continues to fascinate and inspire, much like the music he left behind. The Freddie everyone loved. Freddie Mercury's life was as vibrant and unpredictable as one of his epic live shows. Born Farrokh Bulsara on September 5, 1946, in Zanzibar, Freddie's early years were a mix of cultural shifts and constant change. Moving to India during his youth and later to England, he absorbed a rich blend of influences that would later shape his unique style and artistic vision. In the mid-70s, Freddie burst onto the music scene as the frontman of Queen, a band that would go on to redefine rock music, with hits like Bohemian Rhapsody, We Will Rock You, and Somebody to Love. Freddie's explosive energy, distinctive voice, and undeniable stage presence helped propel Queen to global stardom. He wasn't just singing, he was putting on a show, turning every performance into a theatrical experience that left audiences mesmerized. Freddie was a true original. His personal style, from his flashy outfits to his bold makeup, broke all the rules of conventional rock star image. This fearless embrace of individuality extended to his personal life as well. While he was famously private about many aspects of his life, he still managed to challenge norms with his open approach to relationships and his unapologetic way of living. Whether through his deep connection with Mary Austin or his later relationships, Freddie showed that love and friendship come in many forms, each adding a unique color to his story. Why is almost everyone in love with his voice and style? Freddie Mercury is often celebrated as one of the greatest singers and artists ever, and honestly, it's hard not to be swept up in his magic. For starters, his vocal range was simply out of this world. Whether he was belting out powerful rock anthems or crooning a delicate ballad, Freddie had a way of making every note count. His voice wasn't just technically brilliant, it was full of emotion, charisma, and that unmistakable flair that made you feel like he was singing just for you. But it wasn't only his voice that set him apart. Freddie's stage presence was legendary. He transformed every performance into a theatrical experience. With his dynamic energy, bold outfits, and a natural ability to command the crowd, he didn't just perform music, he told stories, made us laugh, cry, and cheer all at once. It was as if he was inviting everyone to join him on a wild ride through his creative mind. Freddie wasn't afraid to break the mold either. He mixed musical genres, blending rock, pop, and even opera into something uniquely his own. This fearless creativity pushed boundaries and inspired countless artists to step outside their comfort zones. He showed that true art isn't about fitting into a neat box, but about breaking the rules and creating something unforgettable. Moreover, Freddie's authenticity and passion resonated on a deeper level. He lived life boldly and unapologetically, whether it was through his music, his fashion, or his personal choices. This raw honesty made him not just a superstar, but a relatable human being, a reminder that being true to yourself is what really rocks. Mercury isn't just remembered for his incredible voice or his jaw-dropping performances. He's celebrated for his daring creativity, his genuine passion for life, and his ability to connect with people on a personal level. That's why, even decades later, his legacy continues to inspire and his music still feels fresh, proving that he truly was one of the greatest singers and artists of all time. Freddie Mercury's legacy is so much more than just the music he created. It's a celebration of living life on your own terms, boldly, brilliantly, and without apology. His story reminds us that true artistry comes from embracing every facet of who you are, no matter how unconventional it might seem. Long after the final curtain call, Freddie's spirit continues to resonate, inspiring new generations to dare to be different and to find beauty in the unpredictable journey of life. In the eyes of Freddie's people, from the eyes of his family, friends, and all the special people who had the privilege of knowing him, Freddie Mercury was much more than just a dazzling performer on stage. To them, he was a warm, passionate soul whose energy could light up even the dullest of days. His family often spoke about the little-known side of Freddie, the one that wasn't always under the bright stage lights. They remembered him as a caring and devoted person who carried the spirit of his heritage with pride. Growing up, his mischievous smile and fearless attitude were clear signs of the incredible person he would become. For them, Freddie was not just the extravagant rock star, but also a loving son and brother who never hesitated to share a laugh or a heartfelt moment. Friends and close companions described him as someone who was as genuine offstage as he was electrifying on it. They recall his ability to fill a room with his presence, whether he was planning a spontaneous jam session, sharing a meal, or simply having a deep, meaningful conversation. His longtime friend Mary Austin, for instance, often spoke about how Freddie's love and loyalty shone through in everything he did. She remembered him as a constant source of support and a person who valued the connections he made with people, even when his world was exploding with fame and glamour. Stories from those who worked alongside him reveal that Freddie's creative genius was matched by his big heart. His bandmates frequently mentioned how his enthusiasm was contagious and how he pushed everyone around him to be the best versions of themselves. In the eyes of his colleagues, he was not just a brilliant artist, but also a mentor who made time to encourage and uplift others, regardless of how busy or successful he was. Even the people who caught just a glimpse of his kindness in everyday encounters have left tributes that celebrate his openness and humor. From sharing a joke in the backstage corridors to offering a kind word to a stranger, Freddie's impact extended far beyond the realm of music. His ability to connect with others on such a personal level has continued to inspire many long after he left the stage. Freddie was seen by those closest to him as a multifaceted human being, a complex blend of glamour, vulnerability, humor, and kindness. The thoughtful words of his family, friends, and colleagues remind us that behind the larger-than-life persona was a person who deeply cherished relationships and lived life with unparalleled passion. His legacy, therefore, isn't just built on iconic songs and unforgettable performances, but also on the love and admiration he sparked in the hearts of all who knew him. Speaking of legacy, who could forget his songs and music, living eternally through his music? Freddie Mercury had this amazing knack for writing songs that weren't just catchy, they were little universes of meaning. When you dive into his catalog, you quickly realize that his music is a blend of theatricality, raw emotion, and a bit of mystery, which has made his work resonate with fans around the globe. Take Bohemian Rhapsody, for example. This song isn't just a track on an album, it's practically its own world. With its epic shifts between rock, opera, and ballad, it's hard not to get lost in the swirling mix of lyrics and musical styles. Even though Freddie never fully explained the lyrics, that very mystery is what draws people in. Every time you listen, you can pick up something new, making it one of the most symbolic pieces of rock history. Then there's Killer Queen. This song feels like a sparkling snapshot of high society mixed with a wink of mischief. Freddie painted a picture of a woman who was both glamorous and lethal, and the song's clever wordplay and catchy rhythm turned it into a phenomenon. It's playful, yet sophisticated, a perfect reflection of Freddie's own flair for the dramatic. Somebody to Love is another gem that shows a different side of Freddie's songwriting. It's soulful and heartfelt, almost like a cry for connection, wrapped in rich, gospel-inspired harmonies. The song's universal theme of searching for love and acceptance helped it become an anthem for anyone feeling a bit lost or alone. And who could forget We Are the Champions? More than just a sports anthem, this song is about triumph over adversity. Its anthemic quality and unyielding spirit have made it a go-to track whenever people need a reminder that victory can be sweet, even when it comes after hard-fought battles. Freddie Mercury's songs continue to be celebrated not just for their musical brilliance, but for the layers of meaning they offer. Whether you're drawn to the mystery of Bohemian Rhapsody, the sparkling wit of Killer Queen, the soulful yearning in Somebody to Love, or the triumphant spirit of We Are the Champions, his work remains a testament to his ability to capture the human experience in all its messy, beautiful glory. Whether Freddie could have confirmed his condition before he passed, it doesn't really matter. Freddie is Freddie, and everyone just wished we did not lose him too early. What do you think of Freddie's life? Throw your thoughts below. See you in the next video.